think I'll try holding it instead. Geez, how many times have I tried to make this video or try to, make anything that encapsulates my thoughts? Today might be a bit easier just on the fact that, day off today. It's Sunday, right? And once again, just struggling with the regular day-to-day functioning, executive function type stuff. Planning out my day and trying to get a hold on things, trying to get a grip on things, get a grip on my life, get organized, right? Get back on track, get to square one so I can, build off of that. And so the struggle with getting stuff done for that. And what I'm learning to be more is that I think my depression might be coming more from the failure to execute on that, to follow through with working on myself and maintaining all these things in my life. So today super frustrating. Again, that kind of feeling of this constant. It's very unstoppable force meets immovable object, right? So it looks like it's a really bad mix to have because of the ADHD and the lack of feedback you get and stuff for completing tasks and stuff. Then it kind of feeds into depression, right? So I'm having a beer tonight against my better judgment. Finding I'm relying more and more on alcohol, which is not great. I think with COVID and stuff, everyone got very used to isolating and stuff. And, there's a lot less social drinking and, a lot of being productive on your own, sticking to yourself. And, I think that kind of set in motion a lot of negative patterns. I can definitely see my relationship with drinking myself has changed. It's gone from I could obviously lean on a lot of external crutches, it was for social reasons or something like that, right? It's for enjoyment. But now it's much more of much more of a craving, and also dealing with this kind of feeling of discomfort, from the anxiety and stuff. And it's you kind of want to soothe those feelings, right? It's really hard because it's a really unpleasant feeling of I know with depression, there can be this feeling of emptiness and stuff. And with anxiety, there's a feeling of it kind of reminds me of that animated series of Dr. Katz, where his skin was kind of animated to be always shaking, like he was very neurotic or something. And that's kind of when I get kind of a snowballed feeling of anxiety and stuff, it kind of it's that unpleasant vibration. And then, that's what I associate. If I have a drink and stuff, it's like a weighted blanket on me, right? It fills me up, it warms me up, and it kind of puts that feeling at ease. So, finding I'm leaning on drinking more, and also I guess in the whole ADHD lane of things, people say that a lot of people typically self-medicate for that, so that's unfortunate. Yeah, it's been harder and harder. The past few years, I really noticed. So executive function's been a huge theme since probably 2018. I don't know why that's the year, but it's the landmark year that I noticed that my days off were all the hardest days I've had. Those are the days off in your adult life where you can catch up on things and be productive and kind of build a life outside of your work. And I really struggled to do that. Especially with being high functioning, you're giving off this kind of front that you're a normal functioning person and stuff. But in the background, in your personal life, you're definitely struggling to keep up with things. And it can be really hard because if you show up your job 40 hours a week, everyone sees you, completely functioning. But as time goes on, as you get older, you're really struggling to build a full, rewarding life. I guess I'm trying to do a lot of things, fix up my place, get organized, declutter, have healthier habits. I've been trying to do some cooking and stuff, try to make some bread. And everything I do, everything out of that circle of comfort is so uncomfortable that it's not worth it. It's so unbearable. Everything that's tied to doing these things, like it branches out to all these other tasks that become so. I mean, for instance, I have this camera that I've had for a couple of years that I had like a part of it's broken, and I impulsively just said like today's the day I'm going to take that apart. I'm going to fix it. I took it all apart. It started to expand into being like a bigger and bigger task than I thought it would be. I think I just broke it. I think I made it worse. Underestimated how hard it would be. And I think I broke it, and then I didn't want to like go any further, and I didn't want to put it back together. And it's like I have the oomph to start things and then not follow through. And it's like this is the worst feeling. That's just like antithetical to doing anything, you know. Yeah, even like some cooking stuff, you know, I try to get my kitchen clean to a certain point and try to work on some cooking and stuff like that. But it makes these messes that just like breed amongst themselves, and it becomes like unmanageable. And then, you know, it's hard. Getting my place together has been like the hardest possible thing. When I moved into this place, like before COVID, I had so few things. Like, because we weren't allowed going to stores and stuff, I had no furniture. I had like a TV on the floor. For almost a week, I just hung out. I filled a duffel bag full of clothes and I just leaned on that. And that was like my couch. That was like my beanbag chair. And now, like, you know, what is it, like 4 or 5 years? I've bought so much shit online. It's just, I can't even handle all of it. It's so hard to declutter. I mean, there's a lot of it to get rid of. It's like this negative investment. They'll keep buying stuff and bringing it in and buying stuff and bringing it in. Over the years, it adds up, right? It just feels like insurmountable. Like, I don't know if anyone else feels that way. And even the way there's like this dissonance in how I see my environment, it doesn't, no matter which way I configure it, it doesn't feel like normal. It just feels like some weird mess, you know? It doesn't, there's no configuration where I can put stuff. I had moved my couch and my TV here into a different configuration, and it doesn't feel like a living room. It's weird. I don't know how to, and I know that no matter what combination I do, it's not going to feel like a normal configuration. I don't get it. And it's like this, that's definitely really bad for me. It's like causing this neuroses in my own environment, right? To feel that unease. You know, they have all those jokes online, like men will live like this and have to see no problem. And it's just like a bed and a TV. And like, I really crave that, because to have like that minimal of a life, I would have any stresses I would have would just be in my head. It would be a lot less of environmental stressors. This is why I don't even want to start the video. I get so lost, so twisted up that like I can't break up the points and then give each one of them their attention. So yeah, just that perpetual wanting to fix things and being unable to fix things, causing this like really big depression and stuff. It makes you feel just incapable of managing. And yeah, I think like the past few weeks things have been pretty good, but that's only, I mean, almost months now. But I go down these like hyper fixations of like online shopping and stuff, right? So I don't know if it's like algorithms or just the way my mind is, but you know, there was like a hard 2 weeks where I got like super into EDC tech and stuff, like you know, little, you know, knives and little flashlights and little clips and buckles. And you know, with that becomes like, you know, what am I going to put this buckle on? My bags. I get obsessed with bags for 2 weeks and backpacks and sling bags. And that leads into, you know, like hiking or something or camping. And I fixate for like 3 weeks on YouTube videos about hiking and camping. And it's like this lifestyle creep, right? I remember too in the past, I've bought stuff for lifestyles that I don't even have. There was a point I bought hiking boots, and I don't go hiking. I would like to go hiking, but I don't have like it. There's no like really big trails around here. It would just be more of a walk. And with all the camping and stuff too, I don't really have as much access to that as I would like to have, because I don't have a driver's license. I don't have have a car. Yeah, that's it's it's so different what the way like the things you rely on and your addictions change. It gets kind of scary too because you kind of reach that point of willingness, you know, like before there's a bit of more of a fight, like I'm willing to give up these things or something, right? But eventually, when the thing takes over, like when things in life become less satisfying and the addiction's filling up like more satisfaction than you would have otherwise, it's like I'm not willing to give up this or that. So yeah, like having a drink would feel so good, or online shopping would feel so good that you just don't. You're like, I think I kind of want to keep doing this. That's a tough point to get to. Yeah, I've been shopping like crazy. It's so impulsive too. Like within an hour, I'll learn of a new product and I'll have researched it and everything, and I'll have added it to cart, checked out, and everything. I had like a 2 week camera fixation where like I was looking all over for cameras, like just nuts. I was looking at all these videos on how to take photos again. I haven't done that in a really long time. And it got me thinking into like, oh, I wish I was traveling so I could have stuff to take photos of. And, you know, it all branches out. It's this lifestyle creep and distraction and stuff. I don't know if this is cohesive, man. I don't know. Like, I don't have a diagnosis for ADHD. When I did get a diagnosis for my mental health with depression, anxiety, and stuff, I was like, hey, what about ADHD? I'm thinking I might have that. My doctor said, no, I don't think that's what we're looking at right now. I think you're just more losing focus and distracted because of, you know, depression, stuff like that. But now it's like I'm finding a lot of things online I can relate to a lot, and like it almost feels like I can find more relief from targeting things from an ADHD perspective instead of from another. And I don't know why it's gotten so bad over the past few years. I don't know. Does anyone else relate to this? It's so weird. Like I said, you go out, and you kind of give off a front that you're fully functioning and stuff, and maybe even in a job where you have the constraints of a certain pattern that you are just going through every day, right? That's becomes you have to kind of do that externally. But when it comes to your own life, they have like that. What's that Shrek meme where he's laying in bed and he says when you go to bed and like realize that your life depends on you. It's like very relatable, right? So every single thing about your life when you're an adult, it completely depends on you. I don't know how people organize their thoughts for this stuff. Like, how many times can I show up and do it and not have it be a cohesive thing? Yeah, it's super taxing. In my mid 30s to not have this stuff locked down, to figure things out, struggling so much on my days off. Like it takes hours to get out of bed. It takes hours to cognitively start my day. To I'll know what it is I have to do. I have to have coffee. I have to shower. I have to you know take out the garbage. I have to have breakfast. I have to go to the store to get something. I have to maybe go for a walk. And I just cannot mentally prioritize those things. Like one of them is conditional on the other, and it just keeps like spiraling and spiraling. And next thing I know, I've laid in bed for like the first 4 to 6 hours of the day. Maybe I'm on my phone or something. And like I said, my environment, no matter which configuration I put it in, it doesn't feel. I feel like a dissonance from it. That's just weird too. It's like I don't ever know if I want to. I don't have many people over. I don't know if I ever want to show someone it, because on one hand, it's like this. You almost want to show people it because it's a vulnerability. Like maybe they can relate to it, and maybe that would actually make them feel, a lot better, or they can relate. But on the other hand, it's just a mess. It's just embarrassing. Yeah, I really feel like by reducing stuff around me, I could like that can eliminate one big factor. But as much as I know that, I'm still incapable of doing it. It kind of follows me through everything too. Like all my hobbies I have, it's so fleeting from every other thing that I find it hard to finalize anything, um, to fully get immersed into anything. Um, like even with my drawing, I've obviously developed the skill. I've worked really hard with that, but I get to a certain point where it's like this bar of laziness where I'm comfortable living in that zone and producing that, and everyone loves that. That's great, but to develop myself to get to the next point, that would require a lot of challenging myself and showing up. Yeah, it's just crazy being, high functioning and, you know, having a job and stuff and trying to fall into normal life. And every little, like I said, once I kind of go out of that zone of comfort, things become so unbearably uncomfortable that it's like I know you're supposed to live in a zone of discomfort and that's where growth happens, but it's so unbearably comfortable. It's like it makes you really shitty to be around because you're so severely irritable and everything kind of sets you off and it just makes you unpleasant to be around. And even internally too, like if I'm saying I'm making a push to clean my kitchen now or something, like no, I'm going to do this now, then I'm like, basically freaking out in my kitchen, like I drop something and I'm just swearing and stuff, and it's like it's extremely uncomfortable. And I like that's what the physical symptoms too are, with the physical feeling of discomfort, whether it be like pressure in my head or like in my stomach, doing that thing that you don't want to do. It's like, why does it feel so uncomfortable? That's where it becomes less about like laziness and more about this other thing that's like, I don't know if that's an ADHD thing or, um, I'm not willing to believe it's laziness. And there's certain things like, I really think it has to do with something else. Sometimes if you do like a challenge or something, you're externally prompted to do something, you can kind of show up every day to it. I've been trying to get on my exercise bike every day for 5 minutes, and I don't know if that's a laughable amount, but it's what's needed because I wasn't previously using it, right? But I've been showing up to do it every single night for 5 minutes, and maybe eventually I can scale that up. But for now, it's just about doing that right. So I don't think it's about laziness, but about maintaining that habit, and also, if I have any, you know, days where I miss a day or something, then just getting right back onto that and just keep going. Um, it's really just the starting of something, I think. Because I'm not willing to believe that I'm so lazy I couldn't start something. It's just like a cognitive barrier that I can't start. I don't know. I feel like this is like an incoherent mess. I try to articulate myself. Like I said, I've made so many iterations of this. So I don't know if anyone can relate. Let me know if you have any advice. So thanks for listening. Been a frustrating day.